The world will undoubtedly have high expectations for you as an ex-president, raising the standard for everything from the homes you live in to the trips you take. I'm going to take you on a tour that provides a detailed peek inside Barack Obama's trillionaire lifestyle in this video. We'll go well beyond the spheres of politics and riches to examine the significant fortune he has accumulated and discover the keys to his financial success. Let's first discuss how he built his business and maintained the lifestyle he was exposed to as president, before delving into specifics of his life. Some of you may believe that Barack Obama started accumulating wealth only once he became the President of the United States, now that he is no longer one. That, however, is not at all accurate. We need to go back to the early 2000s in order to comprehend the beginnings of his financial success. As an Illinois Senate member in 2004, years before his momentous presidential term, Barack Obama was paid a comparatively meager $8,287. During this period, he was actively advancing the interests of his people and working hard to make Illinois better. It wasn't the only thing bringing in money for him either, as he demonstrated his advancement in public service and politics. He has another source of income as of 2004. He was a teacher at the University of Chicago Law School, imparting his wisdom to the incoming class of legal scholars. $32,400 was his take-home pay for his donations. Barack Obama diversified his assets via a variety of investments in addition to his wages and profits from his employment at the University of Chicago Law School and the Illinois Senate. Among his 3 different asset holdings was the Vanguard Wellington Fund. The estimated value of these investments ranged from $100,000 to $200,000. Barack Obama's financial career had a significant turning point in 2005 when he entered the literary sector. He landed a big bag in 2005, which included a multi-book contract with Random House, one of the biggest publishing houses in the world. After January 2005, the former president allegedly got a substantial $1.9 million advance for his upcoming book, The Audacity of Hope. In addition to earning him a sizable advance, this book, which would go on to become a bestseller, also guaranteed him continuous payments. After being on the New York Times bestseller list for 30 weeks after its release, the book clearly made an influence. Additionally, the 2008 Grammy for Best Spoken Word Album went to the audiobook edition. Barack Obama got slightly over $847 in book advance that year for The Audacity of Hope, in addition to a sizable advance for his previous book, Dreams from My Father. An intimate look into his personal and family background was given by this book. A book's success in publishing is based on its initial advance, as well as the recurring royalties it generates. Obama, for example, did not let us down. In 2005, he brought in an extra $378,000 from book royalties. In the following years, he nevertheless reaped the financial benefits of his publications. In the meanwhile, he managed to get a few $1,000s, almost up to $816,000, from another literary agency, Distel and Godric. This revenue was connected to Dreams from My Father and probably consisted of a mix of royalties and agreements from the book's contracts. He also experimented with investing. In the same year, he purchased U.S. Treasury notes, which are valued between $500,000 and $1 million and are often seen as solid, low-risk assets. In addition, he invested in 2 529 college savings plans for his daughters, each worth between $50,000 and $100,000, as a forward-thinking financial decision. Obama had U.S. Treasury notes valued at between $1.1 million and $5.1 million in 2008, the year he was elected president. Obama received a $1.4 million prize after winning the Nobel Peace Prize, which he accepted as president. In reality, he gave it all to many charitable organizations. Let's go back to his salary in the Oval Office. Obama received $400,000 a year as president from 2009 to 2015, in addition to book royalties and interest on his investments. His pension after leaving the White House would come to $200,000 a year. He has been able to make money off of his presence after leaving the presidency, charging up to $400,000 for speeches in public. He had to back out of several projects that would have brought in more money, since, in the end, the pension probably wouldn't make a dent in their finances. The Obamas inked a production agreement with Netflix in 2018, launched Higher Ground Productions, and experimented with filmmaking. 2020 saw the publication of Barack Obama's most recent book, A Promised Land. The book and Michelle Obama's memoir were part of an exclusive $65 million contract. The book was a huge hit, selling close to 890,000 copies in a single day. They were able to get a multi-year contract with Netflix via Higher Ground Productions, and later in 2022, Higher Ground Productions secured an exclusive global multi-project, multi-year first-look agreement with Audible. His best-selling novels, Of Thee I Sing, A Letter to My Daughters, and Audacity of Hope have combined to earn him $8.8 million. The president had a windfall of $6.8 million when his 1995 book, Dreams from My Father, saw a surge in sales after his arrival in the nation's capital. Obama also collected an extra $3.7 million in government wages. Even though his income decreased when he assumed the Oval Office, he was still able to amass a sizable fortune. His income peaked in 2009 at $5.6 million, but as book royalties decreased, his earnings fell to $450,000 by 2015. His total assets and transactions, including all of them, come to a net value of $70 million. The varied experiences of Barack Obama's early life and schooling helped to mold the man who would go on to become the 44th President of the United States. He was born on August 4, 1961, at Kapiolani Medical Center in Honolulu, Hawaii. His mother, Ann Dunham, was American, while his father, Barack Obama Sr., was from Kenya. Barack Hussein Obama, Obama's father, was a Luo ethnic member who was raised in a tiny town in Kenya's Nyanza province. After receiving a scholarship to study economics at the University of Hawaii, he became interested in Anne after meeting her in a Russian language class. After falling in love, the couple wed on February 2, 1961. Barack's mother, Ann Dunham, was born in 1942 in Wichita, Kansas. Her early years were spent in California, Oklahoma, Texas, and Washington State until her family finally landed in Hawaii. Her family traveled about a lot while she was growing up. After a while, Barack Obama Sr. relocated to Hawaii to continue his schooling, briefly relocating Ann, but she quickly trailed behind him, and that's how they were married. Barack Obama Jr., Ann's son, was born on August 4, 1961, and went on to become the 44th President of the United States. Barack's mother had finished her studies at the University of Hawaii and was pursuing an anthropology degree, while his father was still enrolled there at the time of Barack's birth. Due to problems in their marriage, Barack's parents finally split when he was just 2 years old. Ann and infant Barack were left behind when his father returned to Kenya. Ann Dunham completed her studies in Hawaii before moving on to do research in Indonesia, while Barack Obama Sr. pursued a career in economics and administration in Kenya. Due to his early years spent traveling back and forth between Hawaii and Indonesia, young Barack had a rather haphazard family life as a consequence of this geographic distance. Notwithstanding the difficulties, Ann Dunham gave her son a passion for study and fostered his natural curiosity. Barack spent 4 years in Indonesia from 1967 to 1971 as a result of her 1965 remarriage to Lolo Sotoro, an Indonesian man. He was exposed to a new culture and way of life while attending the local schools. Barack moved back to Hawaii to live with his grandparents, Stanley and Madeline Dunham, after the dissolution of his mother's second marriage. They gave him a secure and supportive atmosphere and were very important in his development. Barack went to the renowned Honolulu prep school, Punahou School. Barack Obama pursued his schooling with an emphasis on the classroom. He participated in a variety of extracurricular activities and was an outstanding student. In addition to playing varsity basketball for the school, he was active in the literary journal. He enrolled at Occidental College in Los Angeles as a student after earning his high school diploma in 1979. Before moving to Columbia University in New York City in 1981, he studied there for 2 years. He studied political science at Columbia with a focus on international relations. Following his Columbia University graduation in 1983, Barack Obama started a career that includes community organizing in Chicago, Harvard Law School, practicing civil rights law, teaching constitutional law, and finally, going into politics. In the 1990s, Barack Obama's political career flourished. When he was chosen to serve as the 13th District's representative in the Illinois State Senate in 1996, he made his debut in electoral politics. He worked on a number of legislative projects in the state Senate, such as ethics and healthcare reform. He became well known throughout the country in 2004 after giving the Democratic National Convention's keynote speech. His motivational speech demonstrated his ability to speak in front of an audience and made him more well-known. Barack Obama declared his intention to run for the Democratic presidential nomination in February 2007. He had to contend with a fierce primary contest, including many Democratic contenders, such as Senator Hillary Clinton. His campaign centered on themes of change and optimism, and he drew in a wide range of followers. After securing the Democratic nomination in June 2008, Senator John McCain of the Republican Party challenged Barack Obama in the general election. He achieved a historic triumph on November 4, 2008, to become the first African-American president of the United States. Barack Obama had several difficulties as president, such as the world financial crisis, healthcare reform, and foreign policy concerns. Among his major projects and achievements while in office are the following. 1. The Affordable Care Act, ACA. Also known as Obamacare, this historic piece of healthcare reform legislation sought to protect people with pre-existing illnesses and increase access to healthcare. 2. Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. Following the 2008 financial crisis, this financial reform law sought to address problems in the banking and financial industries. 3. Killing Osama bin Laden. In 2011, President Obama gave the order for the operation that resulted in the al-Qaeda chief's death. 4. LGBTQ+ rights. The repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell and the national legalization of same-sex marriage are just two examples of how the Obama administration significantly advanced LGBTQ+ rights. 5. Climate change. In order to address climate change, the Obama administration signed the Paris Agreement, which attempted to halt global warming. 6. Immigration. Under the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals (DACA) program, which was put into place by President Obama, illegal immigrants who entered the country as minors were granted temporary legal status. 7. Criminal justice reform. His administration worked to lessen mandatory minimum terms for nonviolent crimes, among other measures to address problems with the criminal justice system. Barack Obama and his family continued to live in Washington, D.C. Prosody rate 7%, until his resignation as president in January 2017. When their younger daughter Sasha was finishing high school, they first rented a home in the Kalorama district. They bought a house in the same area in 2021. Barack Obama has continued to be involved in public life and has concentrated on a number of projects, including encouraging civic participation, tackling climate change, and providing the Obama Foundation with assistance for aspiring leaders. In 2020, the memoir A Promised Land, which he also wrote, was released. Barack and Michelle Obama also established Higher Ground Productions, a production firm that has agreements with Netflix and other streaming services to create movies, series, and documentaries. Barack Obama has accomplished a great deal during his life, from his early years and schooling to his political career, presidency, and post-presidential life. He has had a significant impact on American politics and is recognized as one of the most important political personalities of his time. His estimated net worth of $70 million is a result of his many sources of income, including investments, speaking engagements, and book sales. Barack Obama's incredible path has been characterized by his devotion to public service and determination to make a difference, despite the hurdles he experienced throughout his life.